All right, we are live. Yes, our first ever webinar. We're super excited that everyone joined. We had an incredible response from all of the invites that we sent out. So welcome. I hope you're ready to learn more about this update. Let's get right into introductions. For those of you that do not know me, my name is Wesley Hagee. I am the solutions architect with ManageXR. I do all the writing and maintaining of our help center documentation, as well as field all inbound support messages. So if you're ever looking through the help center and have questions on anything and you've reached out to support, it's likely that the first eyes you're going to get are going to be me on those. I also work with new customers to onboard them. And once they're onboarded and their device fleet is growing, how do we help you guys when you start to get customers who want to deploy hundreds or thousands of headsets? We can talk about deployment strategies, all that good stuff. And we'll give you ways that you can contact both Brooks and myself. Brooks, we would love if you did an introduction.
Sure. Thanks, Wes. Hello, everyone. Nice to speak with you again. If you haven't met me, you're always welcome to give me a call or put time on my calendar. But I've probably spoken to you when you were evaluating ManageXR, and I've probably helped with a little technical support as well. My role today is just to field questions and support from the chat. So I think Wesley will tell you a little bit about that soon. But it's nice to see all of you here, some familiar faces, and we're excited to present today.
Thank you, Brooks. Yes. Apologies, we're still getting pop-ups of people joining. Welcome, newcomers. Thank you. As Brooks mentioned, a few housekeeping items before we get into our agenda. Something that someone mentioned earlier, we will be recording this webinar and sending it out to everyone that has registered. If any of you do not receive it for some reason, please reach out and we'll get it to you. But we're shooting for about a week after the webinar. We're giving ourselves some wiggle room. I'm sure we'll get it out before then, but just to play it safe. Questions. There is a substantial Q&A section at the end. So any questions that you guys may have, please type them into chat. Brooks will field all the questions. And when we get to the Q&A section, we will answer them in the order that they were received. We did open this webinar up to folks outside of the ManageXR who are not currently customers, which is incredible. For those of you that have questions about features that aren't included in this update, you can reach out offline or to our support and we can get you where you need to go. For this session, we want to keep it focused on the new features. All right. What are we going to talk about today? So we're going to talk about why home screen 2.0. So all the features that were included in this update and why we decided to add those. We're going to have a demo portion. We'll look at all things version 2.0 via a live demo. In that demo, I'll be building a full configuration and we'll take a look at all the cool stuff and helpful features that we've added in this update. We'll also take a look at next steps. So immediately after this webinar, not immediately, but what are some things that you guys can do to further prepare for this release and also how to access it currently. And finally, our Q&A section. We're going to have plenty of time here, so feel free to ask any questions you need. Feedback is a huge part of how we prioritize features and just our overall development process. So we're always, always, always open to feedback, and we appreciate it. So why home screen 2.0? What we wanted to do is add more layers of clarity and control. Clarity in the UI when the admins and everyday users of ManageXR are uploading applications, deploying content, etc. We also wanted to add more control over the customizable features that these admins can create for end users. So when a trainee or a student puts on a headset, what are they seeing? Are they seeing, a branded experience that really shows an excellent product that you want to offer them? So we added a lot of great things that will allow you to accomplish just that. So what do we include in this update? We did a full UI overhaul from the admin side of things, and then also the home screen itself. You'll see a lot of new and welcome features. We added customizable UI themes, and the two big ones here, the ability to launch and watch 360, 180, and 2D videos and WebXR links from the ManageXR home screen. So why don't we jump right into the demo? Well, we'll look at all of these features live. Let me stop presenting and share another screen. All right. Brooks, looks like it's thinking. Can I get a thumbs up when you can see?
Looks good.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So when you log into ManageXR, you're not going to see anything new from the dashboard side of things. You'll still be welcomed with your dashboard. The first thing to note on the left-hand side is the VR content section. So this used to be called applications. Now that we've included the ability to launch videos and WebXR content, we brought in this selection to add VR content into there. When you click into the VR content, this is going to be your entire library of all of your VR content that you've uploaded. So it looks a little bit different, but where you're going to see the most changes here is how you actually add the content itself. So once we click on VR content, we're going to add some content. I'm going to go ahead and add an app, a video, and a WebXR link today. Just know that those of you that are familiar with this screen, this hasn't changed at all once you actually get here. Just the getting to here portion has changed a bit. I'm going to quickly upload an APK. So when you upload an APK, you're still just going to click Create App. It's going to load quickly. Then you can add a title, a description, etc. from here. Videos, just as simple. Currently we support all MP4 video types. Video title, and select what type of video it is. Looks like we got a couple of seconds here. While that's thinking, I'm going to go ahead. So we have YouTube WebXR links in our library. I'm going to use Brushwork for this example. What you would do is head to the URL of the WebXR link, add it into here, title, create a link. From here, you can again change the title. You can add a thumbnail icon here, add a description, category, etc. So now that we've uploaded that content, anything that you've uploaded will be populated here. We see that new test app that we have, 360 video, and then the new WebXR link. So this is excellent. If you want to see all of your VR content in one place, you can do so here. But how do we start to deploy this content to actual devices? Well, we would do that through the way of a configuration. And you can think of a configuration, I know a lot of you are familiar with what they are, but they are a bundle of your VR content, some device settings, and then how you're going to present that VR content to your end user. So are we kiosking it? Are we using the ManageXR home screen and having a selection of many applications? Once we create a configuration, it's going to be in its own tile right here. We can then apply this configuration to devices, which we'll look at in a moment. So let's go ahead, build a demo configuration. Now that we've launched into the configuration itself, we can always update the title, but you will immediately be brought to your app library. From here, we can deploy any of the apps that we want. We'll deploy a VR tutorial, do a collaboration tool, and then we'll do some onboarding. Then you will continue to do this for videos and WebXR links. So let's go ahead, add some videos, deploy some WebXR links. If you have any files that accompany your APKs, you can add them here. We have extensive documentation. This Wi-Fi network feature has been out for a minute. We have extensive documentation, but you can also create a library of Wi-Fi networks that you can deploy to devices or configurations rather. And then the belle of the ball here, the device experience tab. So this is where we see a lot of the changes happen in ManageXR. So there are three ways that you can customize the end user experience. The default device menu, you can still push apps, videos, and everything through the ManageXR web app to all of your devices and use the default device menus. So your Pico menus, your Vive, your Oculus menus. We typically see this happen with in-house development. You know, we're not really deploying VR headsets and with access to all of the device native, settings menus and things like that. The idea is to lock down a device and have a very curated experience. Kiosking we're all familiar with. So here you would slot one application into the kiosk. As soon as that device boots on, you'll be brought into the application. If the user tries to exit out of that kiosk application in any way, it's not going to work. They'll just be in that application for the entire experience. And then the ManageXR home screen. So here's where you're going to see a lot of the changes that have happened. Currently, you'll have a toggle button that shows Use Legacy Home Screen. We will be getting rid of this toggle and transitioning everyone to the new home screen on August 1st. But until then, you can toggle this off to see the new device experience here. The first things you'll notice, the menus that were on the right-hand side have now worked their way down here. But we've also added controller battery health, headset battery health, and date and time. Super cool additions. Now let's take a look at some of the features here. So let's start with the VR content. As you can see, there are many applications and there are things on the home screen here. A big request that we had was a way to filter this content. So if you have a configuration that has 50 experiences, how are we going to sort through those and make it easier to navigate? Categories. Start to create categories here. Bear with me. Video content. Awesome. So we assigned everything a category. And then now up here in the top bar, you're going to see all of that populate. So if you needed to quickly filter to all your WebXR links or your videos, you can now do so with the use of categories. The settings and display is mainly talking about our bar down here. What do we want our end users to have access to? So if it doesn't make sense for this deployment to have Wi-Fi settings or casting available, great. You can hide those settings here. If you have a training class that does require casting and casting only, you can hide all the other settings and just have the casting available so that you can share with the class. And then the admin settings menu. So this is something we haven't changed and it will be on every configuration. When you're inside of the headset, you can access the an admin list of settings. And to do that, you can set a PIN number here. The default will always be 5112, but you can change this at any time and then access those inside of the headset. So nothing has changed there. Logo and background, you can start to customize the end user experience. Let me add some logos here. Something to note while I'm adding these is that every custom home screen that you're making is specific to a configuration. So if you have one client that has batches of devices that are being used for many different use cases, you can customize each home screen for that use case. So if it's a STEM class or for field trips, you can start to really customize this environment and dial it in for that specific use case. Super cool. A big request that we had before, you could always drag and drop a 360-degree background image here, which is really awesome. But we did have the request of, it would be great if you had some pre-selected backgrounds. And we have added a list of pre-selected backgrounds that you can mess around with. And We tried to make a diverse group for, if you're using it in healthcare or in a school, that you could really kind of customize that per use case. And they're all pretty, so that helps. All places we probably want to go. All right, so we've uploaded all of our VR content, we've added our branding, we've customized our toolbars. How do we put the finishing touches on the entire configuration or the device experience itself? So we added a colors tab here that really lets you do that. You can select pre-selected color themes that match what you're trying to accomplish or your background. If you have hex color codes that are specific to your company's branding, you can add them in here. Or if you want to get creative, you can use our slider menu here to really create a custom color scheme for your configuration. So I'm going to save this configuration. I know that lime green is terrible. All right, here, we'll go with fine. I'm going to save this configuration. Now, that's great. Let's take a look at what that did. So it created a configuration. You can see on my blank configuration, there's 3 devices applied to it. So once we create this configuration, how do we apply that to devices? This is mainly for those of you out there who are not customers. So let's take a look at how to do that quickly. In our device screen, you'll have a list of all of your populated devices. You can filter these quickly based on groups, device type, etc. But you can select all of your devices, change the configuration on the fly, select a single device and change that configuration, or go into the device itself and change the configuration there. So many different ways we can start to deploy this content. Once these devices come online, they're going to sync with that configuration you just created and download all of the VR content and present all of that in that end user experience home screen that we created. That is it for the demo. We will probably come back to ManageXR once the Q&A kicks off. Until then, I am going to share my slide tab. We are almost to Q&A, so bear with me. All right, Brooks, can you see my presentation?
I sure can. Thanks, Wes.
Thank you. All right. So to do a quick recap, the new features we included: UI overhaul, more ways to customize the home screen, the ability to distribute and watch videos, and launch WebXR links. Super exciting. Next steps for everyone out there. All accounts, as I mentioned earlier, will be transferred to the new home screen environment August 1st. If there's any questions about that, those can be sent to support@managexr.com. So far, we released this feature as an opt-in style mid-June, and everyone that has done it it's been a seamless transition. It's been really great. So we don't foresee anyone having any huge hurdles to overcome. Ahead of the release, we definitely recommend that you explore the new features, much like I did in this demo where I created a configuration, added some content, and started playing around with the UI and the themes. It would be helpful to have a headset close by that you could apply those settings to and then hop in and take a look at all the changes in real time. I think you'll be very pleased at the updates. And then something that I want to really drive home here is that you're not going to have to contact all of your current clients or the people that you're deploying configurations and content to. You don't have to prepare them for this update. All of the core legacy features are here. We just created a new updated way to experience all of that content. And then what's next? So this was the largest update in ManageXR history. We were full steam ahead for many months working on this update. And since the release, we've had a lot free up on our product roadmap. So we did update our product roadmap. I'm going to throw it into chat. This will be included in our follow-up, so if you miss it, no worries. But we did reprioritize our product roadmap. We're super excited about that. And that also takes feedback from you guys to really help us dial in what's super important to those out there in the trenches deploying VR content at a mass scale. Finally, the ManageXR Help Center. So all of this stuff that I covered, the configuration building, uploading the applications, the WebXR links, and the videos is all in our ManageXR Help Center in video form right now. We are working on text documentation to follow those, but the videos are super straightforward and should get you where you need to go with those. To access our Help Center, this is super important for anything inside of ManageXR, even outside of this new update. If you have any questions or you're not sure how do I add an app from the store to ManageXR? When you're logged in the bottom left, you'll see this documentation tab. Click that. You can search the Help Center, browse it. If you have any questions or if you don't see anything there, reach out to support and we got your back. As promised, Q&A. Brooks, what do you got for me?
Thank you, Wesley. Couple questions for you. Can you just reiterate what happens to the legacy home screen on August 1st?
Absolutely. We can better visualize it. I'm just going to share my screen here, or my tab rather. Oh man, we got plenty of time for Q&A. I see a bunch of questions rolling in here. I love it. All right. Oops, that's not the right one. So if you are using the custom home screen and you haven't manually toggled this on, it's not going to get rid of anything that you have, any settings, any VR content, or alter anything at all. It's going to do just what we're showing here. It's going to move your toolbar and add the new UI to your home screen. So no editing is needed, no further work is needed. Once we get rid of that toggle, it's just going to convert everyone to the new home screen and add the new features that we just talked about.
Perfect. All right, I have another question for you. How do you prefer receiving feedback, needs, requirements, and new ideas?
Oh my gosh. Did you cherry pick that one, or is that someone that asked that?
No, that's our friend Daniel at VR Pilot.
Hey, Daniel, thank you so much. That is awesome. I'm actually very, very glad you asked. Since I was brought on board, we started to try to shift, before many people were fielding support, we're trying to shift to one support inbox. Support at managexr.com is an excellent way to do so. If you're logged in to ManageXR itself, there will be a chat bubble in the bottom right where you can send like a chat message that will also go to the support inbox. So two ways are preferred by us: support at managexr.com, chat bubble while you're in the web application. It's the fastest way you're going to get support. You're going to have multiple teams' eyes on it. And then if it's outside of technical, so if it falls in Brooks's field of, account, billing, etc., I can just assign it to whoever it relates to. So thank you so much for that one.
Thank you. All right, I have another question for you, Wesley. What happens if the devices are not connected to the internet? Do they have the legacy home screen until connected to the internet? Will they still work?
Yes, to all of that. Yes, they will still work. Yes, they will be on the legacy home screen until they sync with the ManageXR servers and bring themselves up to date. Great question.
Cool.
And that outside of the legacy home screen toggle button, any change you make in ManageXR, that's going to apply.
Here's one we knew would be coming. When will you release the advanced shortcut menu for accessing system settings when kiosk to a single app?
Who was that? Yeah, we won't call him out. Excellent question. We were actually waiting for that one to be brought up. It was going to be included. This is it's on our short list. So you won't see it on our roadmap because it's even more immediate than that. But what they are referring to is in our logo and background, you see the shortcut menu for a 360-degree background. So what that is typically with the kiosk mode, you're launching someone into a single application, and that is the whole purpose. We do not want them to have access to anything else. We want to keep them on the rails, experience the content, and move on. However, as we're learning from all of you folks out there that are deploying at scale, there does kind of need to be some more settings for on-site admins or for things that might happen in the field, like, oh, my device disconnected from Wi-Fi. What do I do now? So currently there are workarounds, but the idea for this 360 degree or for this quick menu is to launch a little window to access things like boundary setup, Wi-Fi while in kiosk mode. The answer is always in. It will be released when it is done and bug-free so that it does not affect your deployments. A small issue can affect many things at scale. So we want to make sure everything's rock solid for you guys, and it's coming soon, I promise. If a couple weeks go by and you don't see it, you now have one person to bug, and that's me. So I'm your guy.
Okay. Will there be the potential to password protect the advanced menu shortcut that will soon be released?
How's it going, Josh? Hope you're doing well. Great question. And one that I do not have the answer to. Typically, when we release a new feature, all feedback is game for like a version 2 of that feature. Much like I'll use our analytics as an example. That is very much in a V1. It's awesome for the information that people want to see. But if there's anything outside of that, please, please, please let us know. If password protecting the quick menu is something you want to see, that's something that we'll take into consideration and share with the technical team, the engineering team. So I will make a note of this. Or Brooks, I'm sure you have it documented, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, let's add that to our feature requests for sure. See, are we caught up? Are we going live here? Because I can.
We're doing good. I do want to save a little time if people are interested. We released a feature either yesterday or on Friday that we could have maybe included. If you want to just go through the new device detail page real quick, Wesley.
Yes, yes,
That's
yes.
something we can do?
Yeah, this is the VIP treatment here. So
Sure is.
we will be at the end of the day today. We'll touch briefly on this right now, but at the end of the day today, we will be sending out an email that will detail or do an overview of these new features that we just added. So we added to our device detail page another kind of a UI rearranging here and updating. It's going to look a bit different than your older device detail page. If you want to see anything that's installed, typically it was in this device page down below. If you go to current configurations, you're going to see everything that is either synced, that is out of date, or that is actively downloading. We've added a lot of cool stuff there that we'll share more about later this afternoon. I see Luke fielded the, are you thinking to add a shortcut to record a video or take a photo? Yes, and just like Luke said, this has been a major request that we're doing some R&D work on now. Great questions. Oh, Luke is user management. User management for login to the headset would be nice. Being able to create with user passwords. Yes, all these are great ideas, and these are perfect examples of things that we want to hear in that support inbox. What I do is we have a method of saving that on our back end, prioritizing that, and then handing it over to our engineering team who has a vision for how the product roadmap is going to go, and then we start to incorporate and prioritize those based on the feedback we're getting from those using it every day.
Awesome. Well, I don't see any other questions. So I think if you've got a question, put it in now. But I think everyone should now just go explore the new features, right?
Excellent. Yes. Yes. Maria, thank you so much for the feedback. Yes. We're seeing some positive feedback as well. All right. Anything that wasn't covered, obviously reach out to support at ManageXR. We still have a few more items that I do want to cover. Let me share my screen, and then looks like we'll give you guys back some of your time here. How about that?
I like it.
All right. We did
More
cover
webinars.
this.
Yes, I agree.
How to contact support. Again, support at ManageXR. Chat in the bottom right. Yes, more webinars. So we had far more of a response than we anticipated. We had 80 people register. I haven't checked to see how many people we have here. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your schedule to do this. We have already started brainstorming about ways we can start using these webinars to help better benefit the ManageXR community. Obviously, following huge feature releases, we're going to do stuff just like this, but we definitely are thinking about many other things to use this platform for. So thank you all for your feedback and joining. Thank you, Brooks, for helping. And I look forward to hearing from you guys. Thanks, everyone.
See ya.
Take care.